My favorite time of year. Spring is in the air, birds chirping, except at my house where my dog just ate the bird. But that's neither here nor there. It's scoop time. And we're here for the final table of event number 21. $2,100 no limit hold'em, $1 million guarantee, and we shattered the guarantee. Total prize pool nearly 2,951 runners. And here are your final 9. I'm David Tuckman. Thank you for joining us for the highlight show. Minister Borg is your chip leader at hand number 1. Now, it was a long final table, so we're going to jump ahead a really long way, all the way to hand 68. In the process, we're going to lose Exin 13 from the Russian Federation. Exin 13, by the way, a former winner of the Sunday 500 and the Sunday Million runner-up. A lot of big names at this final table. Minister Borg, no longer our chip leader, but has a healthy stack. It's going to make it 40,000, 2x with King, Queen of Diamonds. You might recognize the player in the big blind. That's I'm the Nuts, or Chris Oliver. Chris Oliver, no stranger to PokerStars' final table. He won the Turbo Championship of Online Poker main event in January of this year to go along with his win in the Sunday 500. Has also final tabled the Sunday Million. Action on Hook 2120. This is Hook's second scoop final table. He made the final table of this medium scoop main event in 2010. He's on the button here at 8-3. And who cares about your cards? He's got the button. He's going to 3-bet. Jack Cracker gets out of the way. Action on the big blind. This is I'm the Nuts. And this is the player I was talking about earlier, Chris Oliver. His poker resume, very long and very impressive. He's in the big blind. And he is going to 4-bet. Cold 4-bet with 9 deuce. It looks like such a strong play, but Minister Borg does not believe it, and he is going to 5-bet. Hook gets out of the way. Back over to I'm the Nuts. This is sick. Absolutely unbelievable. Hand 68. We got a raise from Minister Borg, a 3-bet from Hook with 8-3. I'm the Nuts 4-bets, cold 4-bets with 9 deuce, and then Minister Borg 5-bets with King Queen. Who needs cards? And I'm the Nuts is going to 6-bet. Minister Borg 7-bets. Okay, that's it. I quit poker. And I'm the Nuts folds. 7 bets for Minister Borg with King, Queen of Diamonds, and he takes it down. He is now our chip leader. You don't see that every day. Unbelievable poker. We never even saw a flop. Chris Oliver putting in 6 bets with 9 deuce offsuit. Minister Borg never gives him credit and goes 7 bets with King Queen. Action on the button. Jack Cracker with the Ace King. And if these guys went 7 bets with King Queen and 9 deuce, what are they going to do with Ace King and Ace 10? There was a time where 3 bets meant you had a hand. If somebody actually went 4 bets, they had aces, kings, maybe queens. Well, forget about that now. Jack Cracker raises on the button. I'm the Nuts 3 bets with ace 10. And I assume you're going to get a 4-bet here. I assume wrong. Jack Cracker makes the call, potting nearly 240,000 chips. And I'm the Nuts is out flop Jack Cracker. He's got 2 pair, 10s and 3s with an ace kicker. Leads out for 105,000. I don't think you can smooth call the 3-bet with ace king and then fold. Not on a paired board. And Jack Cracker makes the call. 5 of diamonds changes nothing. I'm the Nuts still in the lead. Jack Cracker, by the way, from Australia. Faces a bet of 178,000 chips. Just a tough spot to be in. You're playing against one of the better players out there in Chris Oliver. And you just got to decide, is my ace-king good or is it not? 4 spades on the river. Ace-king definitely has showdown value, but you've got to realize that I'm the nuts is good enough to value bet thin here. He can put you on ace-king or ace-queen or something like that and actually get paid off. In this spot, he actually has a pretty good hand with 2 pair and the ace-kicker. He knows he can get value from worse. And Jack Cracker is going to call him all the way down, and almost 1.8 million chips heads over to I'm the nuts. Chris Oliver, now our chip leader. Hand 80. I look forward to the Spring Championship of Online Poker every single year because these high events, they bring out the best. Raise here from Hook 2120. And all the players relatively deep. Our shortest stack is JRAD F79, and he has over 20 big blinds. Jack Cracker's going to 3-bet here with ace-jack. Chris Oliver with his famous 9-deuce, and he is going to 4-bet. You wonder if they're playing the 9-deuce game. I've heard of the 7-deuce game. I've never heard of the 9-deuce game. Chris Oliver, cold 4-bets, again with 9-deuce offsuit. Tron gets out of the way. Back over to Hook 2120. And both Hook 2120 and Jack Cracker in precarious spots because of their chip stack. Neither one is short stacked, but at the same time, can they call a 4-bet out of position? Well, Hook 2120 doesn't think so. He's going to shove it all in there. That'll get rid of Jack Cracker, I bet. It does. And back over to I'm the nuts. Chris Oliver, while he might be crazy, he's not calling off with 9-deuce. Hook 2120 wins himself a nice pot, now up to 1.3 million chips. Let's jump ahead a few more hands to hand 101. Blinds are now 12,500, 25,000. And still, these players are very deep. It's rare that you get to see a final table where good players get to play deep stack poker, especially in a tournament. Such a treat to see. J-Rad gets out of the way. Hook 2120. No thank you, Jack Cracker on the button. You have to imagine he's at least going to play this. Well, he's not very deep, though. Might not want to make this call. Instead, he's going to shove it all in. That'll get rid of Ministerborg, but I'm pretty sure I Am Sound is going to make this call. I Am Sound, by the way, from Switzerland with pocket queens. He's all in, and he is at risk. Ministerborg gets out of the way. Pocket queens for I Am Sound. King Jack of clubs for Jack Cracker. And Queen 7-3, top set for I Am Sound. 10 of hearts, a little bit of hope for Jack Cracker. Needs a 9 or an ace on the river. Can't be a heart, though. Oh! Oh, that's such an ugly beat. Ouch. Once again, he needed a 9 or an ace on the river, and it could not be a heart. And that is it for I Am Sound. Tough break for him, and he goes out in 8th place for $42,000. 7 players remain. Action on J-Rad. J-Rad, by the way, made the semifinals of event number 7 this year. That was No Limit Hold'em Heads Up High. And he has raised here 2x. And of course, when I say 2x, I mean 2 times the big blind. Hook 2120. We've seen him 3-bet with 8-3. We've seen him shove with pocket 8s. You got to imagine he's going to play the jack strong. And sure enough, there's the 3-bet. Jack Cracker on the button with the ace. There are other players at this table that might 4-bet with the ace, especially having the blocker. Jack Cracker's not one of them, though. I'm DeNuts, though, in the small blind. He's got the ace. He's not going to play it, though. He lets that one go. Minister Borg. Just over 1.8 million chips. There's the 4-bet. There's the cold 4-bet. I mean, I'm watching the cards. You can see the cards face up here, and I'm amazed. What these players must have been thinking at the final table. J-Rad out of the way. Over to hook 21-20. Can't imagine him folding this. It's 80,000 more. The pot's 400,000. And he is actually going to 5-bet with the jacks. Kind of a smallish 5-bet, and Minister Borg gets out of the way. Hand 114. Blinds stay the same. And if you're new to this high level of poker, especially at these high events, you might notice that the 3-bets, the 4-bets, the 5-bets, and even the 6 and 7-bets, they're not necessarily raising it very large. They're small little raises, almost clickbacks. 10 is the year. Raises, we haven't heard from him yet. Tron is going to 3-bet. And once again, you look, it's almost a min 3-bet. Something you see from the experienced players. They're just not afraid to raise small and see a flop if they have to, especially if they're in position. Ten is the year with the ace-9. And the crazy thing is you'd think odds-wise, it's only 30,000 more to call. The pot is nearly 200,000. But now you've got to play a hand that doesn't really play well out of position. You've got ace-9 off suit. And he is actually going to 4-bet. Now, 10 is the year. His 4-bet sizing is a little bit larger than everybody else's. Tron, now 5 bets. And we see this over and over again at this final table. And the 5-bet works. Tron takes that one. Now up to 1.25 million. 10 is the year, down to 700,000. Not a game for the meek, that's for sure. Jack Cracker with the ladies. Now the funny thing is, at a normal Sunday million table, you'd see a raise from the queens, you'd glance around the table, and you'd go, well, nobody's going to play with him. This is going to be a raise and a take it. But we know that's not the case. We know somebody here will probably 3-bet. There'll probably be a 4-bet as well. Over to J-Rad in the big blind. I'm going to go on a limb and say he's not going to call. But it's a highlight show, and we wouldn't be showing you this hand unless something happened. There's the 3-bet from J-Rad. We've almost come to expect it now. And Jack Cracker is going to 4-bet. Back over to J-Rad. And you'll notice that the 3-bet sizing or 4-bet sizing when the players are out of position is a little bit larger than when they're in position. Back over to J-Rad, and I don't think he can do anything else with this hand unless he wants to put his tournament life on it. Oh, wow. He is going to 5-bet with 3 deuce off suit. Is Jack Cracker's going to shove? And J-Rad has put about 40% of his stack in the pot and now is forced to fold. Unbelievable. Ten is the year, ace, queen of hearts. You know he's going to play this one. And unfortunately for him, as aggressive as this table is played, when he gets 3-bet and he 4-bets and somebody else 5-bets, he's probably going to shove. Just the way this table is played. Now, fortunately for him, he's got 1.8 million chips. But let's see if he can limit the damage. There's the 3-bet from Hook 2120. Jack Cracker with plenty of chips. Blinds right now, 15,000, 30,000. He's got about 52 big blinds. He's going to get rid of the 7s, though. Doesn't want to 4-bet, doesn't want to call out of position for set value. Chris Oliver gets out of the way. And it's back up to 10 is the year with ace-queen. At a normal final table, you might say, hey, muck this. Maybe you can call. At this table, I don't know how you can't 4-bet. And sure enough, there's the 4-bet. He shoves all in. Hook 2120 is not going anywhere. You saw the writing on the wall. Pot is 2.5 million chips. And 10 is the year, needs to get lucky. Well, there's a queen out there. He needs one more lady or an ace. 3 of diamonds is not going to help him. Hook 2120 at risk. And he does survive. The 4 hearts on the river. Hook 2120, now our chip leader at 2.5 million. 10 is the year, now our short stack with just about 12 big blinds. Tron with the ace-10. He's going to raise. J-Rad with just about 19 big blinds. He doesn't seem to care how many chips he has. He's going to play aggressive regardless. Tron, by the way, has final table the Sunday warm-up and Super Tuesday. J-Rad does let the ace-5 go. But Jack Cracker is not going to let his 4s go. He's going to make the call. And we're going to just see a normal raise and call and flop. 9-8-3. Not necessarily a bad flop for 4s. But then again, at this table, Tron can be raising with any 2. There's the continuation bet from Tron. Now, we saw Jack Cracker call down with ace-king earlier. And this time he's got 4s. Both hands have showdown value, but he was wrong with the ace-king. Let's see if that affects his move here with the 4s. Tron does have the ace of clubs. We're going to get a check raise here from Jack Cracker. Kind of an interesting check raise. It's a little bit unorthodox. You wouldn't imagine he'll ever get a better hand to fold. I mean, I suppose he could get 5s or 6s to fold, but I don't even know if that hand's folding. Not on such a wet board. I mean, you're talking about straight draws out there, flush draws out there. And Tron is just going to re-raise him right back up to 227,000. Not sure I like this move by Jack Cracker, and he's forced to fold. If I think my 4s are good there, I'm probably just going to call. Then again, you know what? These guys paid $2,100. They made the final table of an extremely tough field, so what do I know? I'm going to give this guy a lot of respect. Hook 2120 with 10 deuce and nearly 3 million chips. Jack Cracker with the ace-5. Uh-oh, watch out. Chris Oliver's got 9 deuce. This time it's suited, though. This time he also has a lot less chips to play with, and he's going to let that one go. Minister Borg with the jacks. There's the 3-bet. And this is a well-hidden 3-bet in the sense that Minister Borg 3-bets, 4-bets, 5-bets even, with somewhat suspect hands. And my guess is that he does a lot of 3-betting and 4-betting on the button. So this time he's got the button. Jack Cracker does not give him credit. He is going to 4-bet right back. And it's a large 4-bet. We haven't really seen a lot of that. Jack Cracker clearly wants to win this pot right now. And I can't imagine Minister Borg letting this one go. Yep, sure enough, he's going to re-raise him. There's the 5-bet with the jacks. And Jack Cracker shoves it all in with ace-5. Minister Borg is going to make that call. The 6-bet all in from Jack Cracker. Minister Borg makes the call, and Jack Cracker is up against it, really up against it now. Top set for Minister Borg. And that is it. Jack Cracker loses a monster pot down to 274,000 chips. Minister Borg, now our chip leader, up over 3 million. Let's jump ahead to hand 161. Jack Cracker with only 9 big blinds, but he's got pocket jacks. He's going to shove them all in there. Pretty standard. He's going to get called in at least one spot. There's the first spot. I'm the nuts. Chris Oliver makes the call. Notice how he makes the call there and doesn't shove in over the top. He doesn't want to expose his stack with only ace-queen. He realizes by making this call, his hand looks very strong. Over to hook 21-20, and this will be interesting because this is the chip leader. He's got the same hand. He's got a very premium hand in ace-queen suited. Plus, he's got the chip lead. Does he want to isolate Jack Cracker? I can't imagine him folding, but at the same time, he's got to be wary of what Chris Oliver has got. Is Chris Oliver is he trapping with that call? Who knows? Well, hook 21-20 makes the call. Pot is 842,000 chips, and the flop is 10-9-8. Jack Cracker still in the lead. He's also open-ended, so a queen will not help Chris Oliver or hook 21-20 anymore. Now they need an ace or a jack. King of spades changes very little. Still an ace or a jack to eliminate Jack Cracker. Hook 21-20, currently residing in Costa Rica. King of diamonds on the river, and Jack Cracker indeed does survive. The Australian triples up to 842,000 chips as this one gets checked down. Hand 162. Blinds are still 15,000, 30,000. You got to give PokerStars a lot of credit. The people that put these tournaments together, the schedule, the structure, many names to thank. One of whom, a good friend of mine, Brian Slick, I interviewed a few years ago for the W Coupe. The structure is just fantastic. Really gives these players a chance to play. Minister Borg is going to raise, and 10 is the year, is going to stick it all in. J-Rad is going to stick all in over the top with ace-queen. And when Jack Cracker and Minister Borg get out of the way, we will see what is a race. 10 is the year. His tournament life on the line. Pot just over 1.2 million chips. King 8-6, and there's a set. 10 is the year, hits his set of sixes. He's not out of the woods yet, though. A 10 would give J-Rad Broadway. 3 of clubs is not going to do it for him, though. And 10 is the year, now up to 1.2 million chips. J-Rad on life support. Well, hand 162, this is what it looked like. Minister Borg, our chip leader, with nearly 3 million chips. We're going to jump ahead a few hands, and in the process, we lose J-Rad. J-Rad from Belgium takes home nearly $60,000. I'm like you, I wish we could see every single hand, but it is a highlight show. And when you look at this final table, we're already 187 hands in, and we've only lost 3 players. A raise from Ministerborg. Oh, kind of a little bit of a cooler for Tron. Against another player, maybe you can get away from the ace-queen. But he's got less than 20 big blinds, and he's up against a very aggressive player in Ministerborg. You can't fault him for shoving there. It's going to fold around back to Ministerborg, and we know he's going to make the call. Tron from Zurich. His tournament life will be on the line, and he's going to need to get lucky. There's the percentages. Tron, a 3-1 dog. 8-4-5, nothing there for him yet. Jack of spades not going to help him. He needs a queen and only a queen. 3 outs with 1 card remaining, and that's not going to do it for him. The 3 of diamonds seals his fate, and Tron is gone in 6th place. Takes home just under $79,000. Blinds are 17-5, 35. Jack Cracker. Almost certainly going to raise here with ace-10. 5-handed. He's in the cutoff seat. There's the raise, 2x. Chris Oliver. Virtually guaranteed to 3-bet this one. That's another thing that you'll find experienced players, successful players doing. If they're 3-betting with 9-deuce, if they're 5-betting with 7-4, they're not slow playing their big hands. They want to get action here. And if it's action you're looking for, we're going to get action here. A raise from Jack Cracker, the 3-bet from Chris Oliver, the 4-bet from Ministerborg. And for the first time, these players all have legitimate hands. Jack Cracker gets rid of the ace-10. Chris Oliver's not going to get rid of the queens, though. There's the all-in. Ministerborg's almost definitely going to call this one. Well, no, he's definitely going to call this one with ace-king. And it's the classic ace-king versus pocket queens battle. Jack 9. Chris Oliver at risk. Surviving so far. Still surviving. Neither player with a heart in their hand. And there's the 4th heart on the river. Makes no difference, though. The queens hold up. And Chris Oliver back up to 2.3 million chips. Ministerborg almost eliminating a very, very dangerous player. Jack Cracker raises. Chris Oliver 3-bets. Normally when I do the Sunday Million and I see somebody taking their time with a hand like 9-3, I just figured they've taken a break or went to get a sandwich. Not at this table, though. Ministerborg, 4-bets, the cold 4-bet with 9-3 offsuit. Back over to Jack Cracker, and he's seen this time and time again. Him raising, you get a 3-bet behind you and then a 4-bet behind you, and he's forced to fold. It's got to get him frustrated, but once again, he does let it go. I'll tell you one thing, though. Chris Oliver is not letting this one go. You can smell the 5-bet coming. Now, normally you'd think, okay, this hand is over. Don't bet on it. We saw it earlier. Ministerborg definitely capable of 6-betting here. Ministerborg from Denmark. Clearly these players have history. And there's the 6-bet from Ministerborg. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Nuts started with about 70 big blinds or so, and he's going to stick it all in there with ace-king. If you got me beat, you got me beat. Well, Ministerberg obviously doesn't have him beat, and Chris Oliver back over 3 million chips, and once again, our chip leader. A raise from Hook. And the one thing about 3 betting and 4 betting and 5 betting with all your garbage hands and bluffing so often, that your aggressive nature, your aggro nature, definitely gets you paid off when you've got big hands like this one. Ministerborg with the aces. Hook 21-20. He's in a tough spot with jacks. 3 bet from Ministerborg. Once again, you see these players not slow playing their big hands. Hook 21-20 was our chip leader probably 40 or 50 hands ago. Currently third. And he just makes the call with the jacks. Ace 10-10. Ministerborg has effectively flopped the joint. You can argue it's actually not necessarily a great flop for him because he might not get action. Bets 142,000. Hook 21-20 doesn't believe him. He makes the call. Oh! Well, he doesn't have to worry about getting action now. Hook 21-20 takes one off. And talk about reverse implied odds. He hits the jack on the turn. And that could be the worst thing possible for him. Ministerborg playing it a little bit tricky. He's going to check it this time. And Hook 21-20 has no reason not to bet here. He wants to build this pot up. Sure enough, he bets 200,000. In his mind, he's got the nuts. He's looking for a way to double up. Little does he know he's in a lot of trouble. Back over to Ministerberg, and Ministerberg just makes the call. He check calls the turn. 8 of diamonds on the river. That changes absolutely nothing. And Ministerborg checks one more time. The only hand he loses to are quad 10s. He'd hate it if Hook 21-20 were to check behind, but we can see he's not going to, and somehow Ministerborg knew this. 600,000 chip bet from Hook 21-20, and Ministerborg almost definitely going to check raise all in here. It's a big bet by Hook 21-20. He wants to get paid. Action back over to Ministerborg. And obviously he's going to shove all in here, but he's taking his time. The scary thing is, he's capable of check raise bluffing here. And he's going to shove all in, back over to Hook 21-20. There's only a couple of hands he loses to. He makes the quick call, and that is it. That is it for Hook 21-20. What a cooler. He takes one off on the flop, hits a 2-outer that ends up costing him the tournament. Hook 21-20, gone in 5th place. Takes home nearly $100,000. And then there were 4. Man, I'm loving this. Blinds now 25,000, 50,000. Ministerborg shoves all in with the Jack-9, effectively putting 10 is the year at risk. 10 is the year is going to make the call with King-10. I like the shove by Minister. I like the call by 10 is the year. Pretty standard, 4-handed. 10 is the year, about a 3-2 favorite. Well, it's bigger now. Oh, not anymore. Needs a 10, a jack, or a king on the river. That's not going to do it. And 10 is the year is gone in 4th place. He's from Vancouver, Canada. Takes home nearly $140,000. 3 players remain. Let's take a look at a graph here. This is what it looked like from hand 1 all the way to hand 283. Jack Cracker not really making many moves, but the 2 most aggressive players at the table, Minister Borg and Chris Oliver, I'm the nuts. Both their stacks making some more volatile moves, and Minister Borg definitely the beneficiary of it all with 5.2 million chips. We get a raise here on the button from Jack Cracker. I'm the nuts is going to 3-bet with the ace-8. Minister Borg out of the way. And my guess would be that Jack Cracker is going to shove here with the 9s. The only question is, when Jack Cracker does shove, what do you do with ace-8 of spades? I mean, I'm pretty sure that I'm the nuts had a plan already. When he 3-bet, he knows what he's going to do. But what is it? Is the hand strong enough to make the call? And it is. He makes this call. Jack Cracker looking to avoid spades or an ace. Wow, what a flop for I'm the nuts. Top pair with the flush draw. Jack Cracker's got to fade a lot of cards, and that's one of the ones he needed to fade. That's it. Jack Cracker drawing dead. I'm the nuts with the nut flush. Up to 4.2 million chips. Jack Cracker, once again from Australia, takes home $185,000. Not a bad payday. Heads up. And was there any doubt it was going to come down to Minister Borg and Chris Oliver? These 2 sick players. They've been going at it all day and probably for years. There's the raise. There's a 3-bet. We're at hand 302. And you wonder if their styles will change now that it's heads up. Ace, King, 9. Oh, wow. Top pair for I'm the nuts. But top and bottom for Minister Borg. Chris Oliver leads out for 181,000 chips. Minister Borg. With top and bottom, you imagine he'll raise right here. There's the raise. Not a very draw-heavy board. Back over to Chris Oliver. And how do you play the ace-queen? Heads up, he's going to make this call. Pot now 1.3 million chips. Jack of clubs. One more hand Minister Borg can't beat. But 2 pair heads up. I don't think he's going to play this one passively at all. Chris Oliver checks. The Dane thinking of what to do here with top and bottom pair. He's going to check it back. And the queen on the river, it is a one-liner to a straight. If somebody had a 10, they would have Broadway. I know a lot of inexperienced players would be happy to check this down and just show down their ace-queen. My guess is that Chris Oliver will either bet for value or be checking to try to get value from a bluff. He's actually going to lead out for 271,000. Kind of a blockish bet, but he's a good enough player where even if you know it's a blockish bet, you don't necessarily want to raise him. Action on a Minister Borg, top and bottom. And you have to wonder, was he contemplating raising with 2 pair to get Chris Oliver off of a bigger 2 pair? Who knows? Maybe he was contemplating actually folding top and bottom pair. Regardless, these players are definitely closer. Get a raise from Minister Borg on the button, a 3-bet from Chris Oliver. Pretty standard. Now we saw Minister Borg only call with the ace-9. This time, he decides to 4-bet with the ace-queen. By the way, about $100,000 difference between first place and second place. That is what these players are playing for. And of course, a scoop title. Chris Oliver with the 5-bet with Queen 4. Well, I asked the question earlier. Are these players going to change their style heads up? And the answer, a resounding no. And Minister Borg with the 6-bet with Ace Queen. And Chris Oliver's all in. He's all in with Queen 4. This could be it. Minister Borg makes the call. It's unbelievable. Chris Oliver, we've seen him do it with 9 deuce a couple of times. And this time he shoves it all in. He puts his tournament life on the line with Queen 4 and gets called by Ace Queen. Nothing there for him. Chris Oliver needs a 4 on the river. It's a 10, and that's it. That is it. What an unbelievable final table, and what a shocking ending. That was one I didn't see coming. What seemed like an innocuous hand turns into the final hand. Minister Borg from Denmark is your Scoop 2012 Event 21 champion, taking home over $344,000, defeating what has to be one of the toughest final tables I've seen in a while. Chris Oliver in second place takes home nearly $250,000. An amazing final table adds to what has already been a great scoop so far. I've had a lot of fun watching Sean Deeb and Isildur 1 battle it out at the top of the Player of the Series leaderboard, and I, for one, am at the edge of my seat to see who wins that one. But right now, let's give credit to Minister Borg, our 2012 Event 21 title winner. Until next time, I'm David Tuckman. Reach for the stars.